Hey everybody, my name is TotalNerdStatus 2.0, and today I'm going to be lazy because I just decided not to spike. But today I'm going to explain to you all of my problems, or at least the ones I can think of right now. This is my kitten. Say hello. She's hyper. Um, so with the Dark Knight trilogy. So I'm going to go movie by movie, and then I'm going to explain the things overall in the trilogy which just didn't make sense to me. Apparently, she's going to join me. So starting with Batman Begins, right off the bat. He was trained by ninjas. Now, the way I know Batman, the way I know Bruce Wayne is he trained himself. After his parents were killed, he spent the rest of his life training himself inside the Batcave, learning these fighting styles by himself. As far as I know, he didn't have a trainer. And in this movie, they took the villain and made him the trainer. I just didn't understand that. Also, he was outsmarted by the villains, Roz and Scarecrow. What's Scarecrow's real name? Something Crane? Anyway, he was outsmarted by both of them because he was sprayed with gases from the Scarecrow, which basically almost killed him. And then Ra's al Ghul outsmarted him by setting his house on fire. And then Batman, at the very end of the movie, spoiler alert, without hesitation, just allows Ra's al Ghul to die. Now, of course, he didn't directly kill him, but it's still a violation of the no-kill rule that he just allowed him to die when he could have saved him. As far as the Dark Knight, that's when the Batman voice starts to go south. It's starting to get a little bit bad. Batman is outsmarted by the Joker, and I can allow that because, it's the Joker, the best villain ever, so of course he's going to outsmart Batman at least once. But at the end of Batman Begins, Batman says, as he's handed the Joker card from Gordon, "I'll look into it." And if he really looked into it, why is the Joker still at large? And why has he never been caught by the Batman? Because at the beginning of The Dark Knight, he showed the Joker card at the crime scene of the bank heist by Jim Gordon, and he says, "Him again." And it's like, okay, so you've heard of him for a while now, and you've come to a bunch of crime scenes where he's been responsible for the crime, allegedly, because of his trademark Joker card. So why haven't you done any research on him? Why haven't you tried doing research on him? We see him do research on him later in the film, but assuming that he's been at so many of these crime scenes where Joker has laid the Joker card, you would think he would check at least one of those cards for fingerprints. And apparently not. So, that just didn't make sense to me, especially since it's Batman, and that's all he does. As soon as he finds a big crime heist like that, especially if he's gone through multiple crime scenes and each one has found the same type of card about this guy that he's heard so many bad rumors about, he would have done some friggin' research. It ended on Two-Face instead of the Joker. I think it should have ended on the Joker, and I know that's not entirely their fault. That's kind of unfair because Heath Ledger died before they finished filming. I wonder how it would have ended. I think they should. If Christopher Nolan hasn't done it already, he should come out to the public and say, okay, well, it would have ended like this. Because it should have ended on the Joker. Because it should have ended on him, in the prison again, and you knew he was planning something or something like that. Just the fact that it ended on Two-Face, and it felt like it ended on such a low note, because it didn't really feel climactic to me at all, the end of The Dark Knight. It didn't. I mean, Gordon's monologue about, you're the hero Gotham deserves, but not the one it needs, that was kind of cool. But other than that, it didn't feel climactic at all, and I did not. I hated it. So, Batman straight up kills Two-Face to save a kid, by the way. At the end scene, Harvey didn't slip off of that balcony, okay? Batman straight up pushed him over the balcony and broke his neck as he fell. Well, he might have not broken his neck, but he died falling. And then another thing, if Harvey Dent died falling that far, Batman fell from basically the same height minus 2 or 3 feet, and he didn't have so much as a broken bone. I mean, I know it's Batman, and I know he's wearing that bat suit that has a little bit of armor, but, I mean, come on. He just fell, like, 8 stories. Or something like that. I think 8 is pushing it, but... And then the Dark Knight Rises, I have the most... even though this is the movie that I saw the most, I probably saw this 8 times in theaters because I loved it so much, but that doesn't mean I didn't have a lot of problems with it. First of all, at this point, the Bat voice is terrible, and I mean awful. This is like cancer, throat cancer worthy. This is when the voice was just at its absolute worst. Batman is outsmarted by the villains again. He never does any detective work in the trilogy, let alone this movie, other than researching who Catwoman is. I mean, okay, so he kind of did research on the Joker, or at least he tried, but he didn't come up with anything, and it seemed like he stopped there. He just looked up to find out the identity, and then after that, he never did any research. I guess he kind of examined the bullet where he found the Joker's thumbprint, but what was the point of that? If the Joker doesn't have an identity, because obviously you tried to match up his face on the computer and it came up with nothing, no matches, so what's the point in scanning a fingerprint? Obviously, it's not going to come up with anything if the face gave you nothing. I didn't understand that, so... And then he kind of gave up after that until Catwoman shows up and he does research to find out who she is. But other than that, he never does any detective work, and it's just terrible. That's not Batman to me. Even in a realistic world, that's not Batman. He was retired for 7 years after only being Batman for a maximum of 10 years. I mean, if you think about it, why is he retiring? He's an old man, apparently. He's got this disgusting beard he's walking on a freaking cane, and he's only beaten 4 main villains. Ra's, Scarecrow, Two-Face, and Joker. That's it. And he didn't really even stop Ra's. He just let him die. And he didn't even do anything to stop Scarecrow until the beginning of Dark Knight when he finally imprisons him. Rachel's the one who hit him with the, taser. Rachel's the one who stopped him in Batman Begins. Batman didn't do crap to stop Scarecrow then. He's only stopped 4 villains, so that makes him Batman for a maximum of 10 years. Maybe it's not even close to that. And he's already old and frail, and, like, his bones are all messed up. Like, are you kidding me? You stopped 4 main villains. I mean, of course, he's probably stopped a little bit of crime in between those movies, but, I mean, enough to do that much to his body when he's been training his whole life for this? I don't think so. Not in a realistic world. Not even in a realistic world. Catwoman sneaks into Wayne's private quarters of his of Wayne Manor and steals his mother's pearls from a safe. I didn't think that fit well. I mean, it shows how sly Catwoman is, but I mean, it's Bruce Wayne and it's his manor. Obviously, he's not going to let anyone, even Catwoman, wouldn't be able to sneak past all of his security, especially his safes. Like, are you kidding me? It's Batman. You're not going to be able to break into Batman's safe without at least a hammer. You can never understand a word that Bane says. I understand maybe 20 words overall in the whole film. It's just bad. It's like, what? Batman is easily broken in half by Bane without even getting so much as a hit on him. So, the fight scene between Batman and Bane I thought was a great fight scene, but, that being said, I mean, Batman has been training his whole life to fight crime. He didn't think he was going to come across one villain who would be as big as Bane. It's not like he's been not prepared. He's prepared for this. And he didn't even hurt Bane, and I guess that kind of shows the how iconic it is. Like, that shows the symbolism behind how big and how unbeatable Bane is. But it was too easy, and it was just not good. It was too easy, even for Batman, even for Bane. Batman should have at least knocked him down once because it's Batman. I don't care if it's Bane. half of the movie after that is Bruce laying on his back, watching television from the inside of a giant hole. Nothing need to be said about that. Batman fails not once but twice at climbing out of the hole, and neither time he fails results in his back being broken by the sudden catch of the rope. So you remember when he was trying to climb out of the hole, he failed not once but twice, and both times he fell backwards and the rope snapped right on his back. You're telling me months, maybe not even that, maybe just weeks after he fixed his supposed broken, like shattered in half spine, that rope didn't do some immediate damage to that spine when he fell like 3 stories and then it suddenly caught? That did no damage apparently, and it took him twice to do it, to finally make it out. Catwoman kills Bane. I did not like that because there's no triumph there. It's just too easy. It's just, poof, Bane's dead. You know, I mean, Batman was kind of winning that fight at the very end before he gets shot, but not really. I mean, Bane was fighting back pretty hard. What did Batman do? Kick him once through the glass door and then just yelled, that's the triumph. Other than that, nothing. Batman should have had some triumph over Bane, and there was nothing. Batman is outsmarted by the main villain again. He's outsmarted by Talia and stabbed deeply. My God. Anyway, so looking back, let's see. Batman has his back broken. Okay, first of all, he heals in a matter of months from some magical old age Chinese, whatever the crap, healing method for a broken spine. And then after that, he comes back, gets his ass kicked by Bane again, and then gets stabbed deeply, and then still somehow allegedly manages to survive a nuclear explosion. Okay, I mean, I know he's Batman, but I thought you were trying to set this in a realistic world. Batman probably would have died within minutes of that stab wound, because she put the whole blade in, man. It wasn't just like tip, like, poop. She stuck it in and she twisted it. Like, he's bleeding to death in a matter of minutes after that. He kills Talia by making her truck crash directly into concrete. For those of you who remember, he was chasing Talia with his bat. I hated that name, by the way. They should have just called it the Batwing. It's stupid. It's cheesy that they just called it the Bat, in my opinion. So he was chasing Talia in that big fancy truck with the bomb on the back. First of all, he makes her crash because she goes, like, she's on a bridge and he shoots all behind her, and then she goes off balance and falls underneath the bridge and just goes boosh, and then that just stops the truck right away. So he killed Talia purposely, which she had the most terrible death in cinema history anyway. She was like, it was awful, but made me laugh every single time I watched it. But and then after that, like, okay, the truck crashing, when there's a nuclear bomb on the back, if it crashes that hard, she was going a solid 60, and a sudden stop, you're telling me that didn't just right away make the bomb go off and just annihilate Gotham? Okay, thought this was supposed to be a realistic world, Nolan. Anyway, and then, you know, allegedly supposedly he survives the nuclear explosion. I am a believer that he did not survive it, and the thing that Alfred said, that Alfred saw at the end of him sitting with, Selena, I think that was just in Alfred's head, and that's just something that he saw, like, that's something that he envisioned just to bring him at peace. Like, that's something that he imagined himself. That's what I think it was. I don't think that he would have survived, because I don't think Nolan's that stupid, personally. So, the other character's name is straight up Robin. Seriously? Okay. They couldn't have at least have given a nod to the nerds like me by having him named Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake. I mean, you had to say straight up Robin. Did you have to make it that freaking obvious? Are you kidding me? It's just too cheesy. It's like the Bat. Why would you call it the Bat? Why would your name be Robin? Who names their kid Robin? I mean, I guess you can be a mega nerd, but at least name your kid Tim Drake then. I mean, seriously, that's just too obvious. You made it too easy for everyone to relate. I would have loved it so much better. Less would have been more if you had to be a nerd to understand the reference of Dick Grayson or Tim Drake as Robin. The fact that they just named him Robin was just... It was terrible, in my opinion. I absolutely hated it. And lastly, all throughout the trilogy, he never proved once to me that he is in fact the world's greatest detective. Like I said, he only did 2 hard researches. Okay, he did research twice, and it wasn't even hard research. He put the Joker's face on a screen, got no matches, he tried the fingerprint. We never even got to see what the fingerprint analysis was. He just kind of like, that's the thumbprint when he pressed around in the clip. I'll get you a copy. That's the last we see of it. We never see what he does with it or why he needs it. It makes no freaking sense. And then he just probably just went on Wikipedia to find out who Catwoman was. My God. I mean, come on. Thought you were Batman. Do some research. He never, during the crime scenes, like in the Dark Knight, in the bank heist scene, he simply walked in there and was shown the Joker cards like, him again. And then he just disappears from the room as Gordon's talking to him. He never stays at the scene to search for fingerprints by himself. He just trusts what the cops are doing. I know. It's supposed to be set in a realistic world. But no. Not even in a realistic world would Batman just trust that the cops got absolutely everything from that crime scene, okay? Should have done something by himself. But no, he didn't. He never proved to me that he was the world's greatest detective. And that just didn't do it for me. That is not Batman. And on top of that, he was outsmarted a total of 6 times. By Ra's al Ghul in the beginning, when he was burning down Wayne Manor. I mean, how did you manage that? Honestly. I mean, he's Batman. What were there, a total of 3 guys in front of him? He couldn't have taken those 3 guys, one of which trained him. He would have been the only problem. The other 2 just probably know how to throw a punch. And yet he just stands there and watches as they drape everything in gasoline and set it on fire. My God, man. Thought you were Batman. And then there's Scarecrow when he sprays him with the gas, that's kind of unfair because he sprayed him with the gas and didn't see it coming, but I mean, seriously. And then Joker, of course, outsmarts him. We all know how that turned out. And then Catwoman outsmarts him by, stealing from his safe and leading him to Bane, basically killing him. He was outsmarted by Bane when Bane, right after he broke him, or was it before? No, it was just before he broke him when he got that C4 and then the ceiling fell, and right on top of them was Bruce Wayne's secret thing with all his Batmobiles and stuff. By the way, that's something I forgot to mention. How did they know where that was? It's off the books, according to Fox. How did they find it? In a realistic world, that is literally impossible. Anyway, and then he was outsmarted by Talia, because she's Talia, and stabbed him with a 6-inch blade, and he survived it. Terrible Batman voice, just awful. Everyone hates him for it, including me. The fighting style never looked very agile. It was always slow, especially in the beginning of The Dark Knight. All he did was, he broke that gun, and then from then on, it was like, doosh, doosh, doosh. It was the slowest fighting I've ever seen. It was hilariously stupid. It was always hard, stiff movements, like I just showed you, he was doing the robot. It was doosh, doosh, and then he takes the guy's head and just doosh. Takes him 5 seconds to hit the guy's head on the pole. It's come on. It certainly did not look like he had learned 127 different fighting styles, like it says in the comics. Later on in the comics, it actually says that he learns every fighting style in the world. Now, I know that he was trained by Ra's al Ghul and blah, 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 so he probably didn't have time to learn all of the stuff, but he did spend 7 years, if I remember, because he was declared dead as he was coming back from the training. He says, like, you had me declared dead. Alfred's like, you were gone 7 years. So, awful Alfred, I'm sorry, but he was gone. He was there for 7 years. He had to have learned more than how to do the robot and throw a couple punches. You know what I mean? That's just unacceptable. And he killed a total of 3 villains himself. Ra's al Ghul, at the beginning, I'm counting that as a kill. That's not an indirect kill, okay? That's a straight-up kill, because he let him die. That's not indirect. He let him die. That's a murder, okay? Then he killed Two-Face by pushing him off the balcony, breaking his neck. And then he kills Talia by making her come to a sudden stop and have the worst death in cinematic history. And he indirectly killed one more, which was Bane, who was killed by Catwoman. I say indirectly because he let her do it. And if he wouldn't have done it, Batman would have died, because Bane had a freaking shotgun right up to his jaw. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? What happened to the no-kill rule, Batman? Okay. So, if I missed anything, let me know in the comments section below. And, let me know if you disagree or agree with any of my points. This is just all the things that I can think of. Don't get me wrong, I love the Dark Knight trilogy. They're all great movies, but I did have a lot of problems with it. And I hope I'm not the only one. So let me know what you think down in the comments below, like I already said. And thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. My name is TotalNerdStatus, and I will see you guys next time.